Now let us study about another application of Wheatstone bridge. This application is called potentiometer. It is used to measure potential difference across any resistor. We already have another appliance, another device which is called voltmeter, and this does the same thing. But there is a disadvantage of voltmeter. The voltmeter works when it consumes current from the circuit. So let us say that if we have a part of circuit like this, in which current I is flowing, and we have to find the potential difference across this resistance R, and the voltmeter is connected in parallel. Now ideally the voltmeter should have infinite resistance, but it is not possible to achieve. It is impossible to have infinite resistance. So that means some part of this current I will go to the voltmeter for its working. So let us say that if I1 is going to the voltmeter, then in the resistance R only I minus I1 current is passing. So the voltmeter is although finding the potential difference according to I minus I1, but we are assuming that it is finding the potential difference according to the current I. So that means the value of the potential difference across R will not be 100% accurate. This disadvantage of consuming current from the circuit is removed in potentiometer. In potentiometer, the device does not draw any current from the branch of resistance. From this resistor branch, the potentiometer does not consume any current, so it gives very accurate value of potential difference across R. Now this is the basic design of a potentiometer. As you can see, it is very much similar to meter bridge. The only difference is that in meter bridge there was only one wire of 1 meter, only one wire of 100 centimeter between the points A and B, but here there is a group of wire. This is the point A, and the wire starts from here. A 1 meter long wire goes in this direction, then from here another 1 meter long wire goes in this direction. So as you can see that these two wires are in series with each other. Then the wire goes in this direction, then another 1 meter in this direction. So all these are in series, and then we have 9 or 10 wires like this. So where the length of meter bridge is from 0 to 100 centimeter, the length of wire in the potentiometer is from 0 to 900 and even to 1000 centimeter. Okay, so this gives us an advantage. What is the advantage? The advantage is that suppose we have to find the balancing length by using this key. Now if we had a meter bridge, then if the balancing point is between 0 and 100 centimeter, only then we can use the meter bridge. Let us say suppose the balancing point is at 200 centimeter, then we cannot use meter bridge to find that balancing point. Then we have to use potentiometer. So potentiometer is nothing but a meter bridge, but with a wider range of distance. The length of the wire is much more, so it gives more accurate value, more accurate position of zero deflection, or the balancing point, more accurate position of the balancing point. Now let us find how to apply this potentiometer device. Now for that, we first thing that we do is to find the potential gradient. How do we find the potential gradient? We'll talk about the principle later in detail. First let us find what is the potential gradient. Now this is a circuit diagram, a basic circuit diagram of potentiometer. Now here I have removed this entire thing, and I am representing all this length of this 900 centimeter length between A and B with a single wire. Okay, so you can assume that there are a lot of wires. There is an entire potentiometer device between points A and B. I am representing here all of these wires by one wire. Now this circuit has two parts. It has two batteries, so it has two parts. This upper part of the circuit has a battery of EMF EP. This is the primary battery. Rheostat is connected here, and then there is a potentiometer wire AB. This upper circuit is called the primary circuit. The potentiometer takes its current from this source. So this is called the primary circuit. The lower part of the potentiometer also has a battery E, which is connected via a galvanometer and a key which is used to find the balancing point. This part of the circuit is called the secondary circuit. So this battery is called the secondary battery. So we slide the key over this potentiometer wire to find the balancing point. Now from here, the first thing that we do is to find the potential gradient. Let us say that X is the potential gradient. Potential gradient means potential per unit length of wire. Potential gradient is nothing but potential per unit length of wire. So it will be given as VAB upon L, that is the potential drop between A and B, on the 2 points, between these 2 points, whatever is the potential difference, that is VAB divided by the total length of the potentiometer, capital L. So this is the total length of the potentiometer, so the potentiometer gradient will become X equals to VAB upon L. The SI unit is volt per meter, volt for potential difference, meter for length, so volt per meter. Now according to Ohm's law, VAB can also be given as IR, where R is the resistance of the wire between A and B. All these wires, the total resistance between point A and B is R, and the current flowing through potentiometer wire is I, then VAB is also equal to IR. Now if we put this value here, then we'll get X equals to IR upon L. This value R upon L is written as Rm, where Rm is the resistance per unit length. This R upon L is the resistance per unit length. Now let us say that we connect this key on this point C on the potentiometer and we get zero deflection. So our C will be the balancing point, and let us say that the balancing length is AC, which is given as small l. Now this means that VAC is X into L. Just like here, before we connected the secondary circuit, before the secondary circuit was here, X was VAB upon L, or VAB was XL. Now when there is VAC, when the galvanometer is showing the zero deflection and the length is L, then on the same lines, VAB, instead of VAB we have VAC, the potential drop across these 2 points, and it will be equal to X into L. Now this is the principle of the potentiometer, and it states that, I can write here, in case of zero deflection, the unknown EMF that is E, this EMF is equal to the known EMF, which is EP. At this point, at this particular condition, we have zero deflection. So when we are connecting this galvanometer at this point, what we are actually achieving is that EP and E become equal, and we get this particular condition, VAC equals to X into L. So this can be considered as the principle of the potentiometer. Now let us say that if this key J is pressed at a point C1, let us say this is C1 towards the left of the balancing point. The balancing point is at C, and here we have C1 and here we have C2. Then at C1, the potential difference VAC1 will be less than this secondary battery. Potential difference of this part, VAC1, is less than E1. Similarly, VAC2, the potential difference between A and C2, this will be greater than E. At C, VAC becomes equal to E. So this becomes true, and this will give us the value of potential gradient. Now this particular process is called standardization, and after a standardization is achieved, we do not disturb the primary circuit of the potentiometer. If we disturb the circuit, suppose if we change the potential, if we change the EMF, or we change the thickness of the potentiometer wire, or length of the potentiometer wire, or the value of rheostat, then again we have to find the potential gradient. So once potential gradient is found, we do not disturb the primary circuit. Now how do we use potentiometer for various applications, that we will discuss in the upcoming videos.